Hello, lovely to be with you today. My name's Bishop Will Hazelwood and I have a particular care for the environment under the heading of the common good. And I'm joined today by Karen. Karen, please tell us your role and why you're here today.
Hello, I'm Karen Park. I'm the Eco Church Champion here at St Mark's in Holbrook, which is in North Horsham.
And what we're planning to do in this video is just introduce some of the areas around climate action and the climate crisis that we face. Karen, why do you think this is particularly important for Christians? What's the particular Christian dimension of our concern about what's happening in the environment today?
God created everything and he said that it was good. We're the custodians of the environment. And we need to do more to look after it.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm struck often when I say morning prayer by some of the Psalms and the way they kind of reflect on the whole of creation praising God. And if our worship, which is so central to our life, we join in with the whole of creation in this sense of worshipping the Creator God and the environment and world of which we're part, which seems to me so crucial to our understanding and our need to react to the destruction that we as humanity have done to our world. And Karen, obviously, not only is this a situation for us as human beings, but also this sense of what does it mean for us being part of a worldwide church of Christians?
We're called to love our neighbours as we love ourselves, and our neighbours here in the UK and around the world are increasingly affected by the impacts of climate change. It's often the poorest and the most vulnerable who are affected the most, and for example by weather-related disasters and the increase in food prices due to the increase in the unfavourable weather conditions for farmers.
Thank you. Certainly, even over the last few weeks, we've become increasingly aware of how urgent this stuff is. The flooding in Spain, the impact of the flooding in the UK, let alone some of the most deprived communities around the world that are being impacted directly and increasingly by the climate crisis. Karen, that can sort of feel overwhelming when we kind of sit with all sorts of needs that the local church faces and is pressing upon us. What's your advice as a parish church seeking to think about what we can do? What sort of direction has that led you in changing things?
Well, looking at the building, yes, is the prime thing. And we've been using the energy footprint tool on the parish returns to look at how much gas and electricity we're using, and for churches that have got oil, it also takes that into account. It's very easy. Just go on the website once you've got your annual fuel consumption figures and fill them in. And we found that having improved the church hall loft insulation and the thermostat controls for the church and the hall, that we saved 15% less gas and electricity we used in 2023.
So that's had a financial advantage.
Yes, that's right.
As well as an environmental one.
And then we're continuing to replace the light bulbs with LEDs. So we're almost there. So we're just gradually doing that in the church and the hall. And we're seeking advice from Steve Collins, the Net Zero Carbon Manager for the diocese, about using an independent energy audit. Okay. So that will be the next step for us. So we'll be discussing that as a PCC soon. And we're already a Silver Eco Church, so we're working towards the Gold Award. We're very pleased with the new survey. It's a refreshed Eco Church survey with things that have more impact. We know now about what impact different measures we can take and have, and the new survey reflects that very well. It's going to be more of a challenge for churches, particularly going from silver on to gold, but it's good because we can see that those things will really make an impact and increase the way we're working with others in our community as well, which is very important.
And with the 950 celebrations that we're having this year, there's this sense of the diocese seeking to celebrate all that it's done within local communities. And I think environmental care is one of the ways that we can really reach out missionally, actually, to the wider community and saying, here's something we're seeking to come together to solve. We can't do this as individuals, but when we come together, we can begin to make a difference in our communities. And the Arosha scheme is so good for giving sensible steps in that direction, which are kind of doable. So we began to explore also how this can be a missional opportunity, and actually also how the church has something to proclaim of hope in all of this. I'm constantly seeing reflections that imply that particularly the younger generation are fearful about climate change and the impact it's having upon them. How do you see us potentially spreading hope, particularly within that community?
It's by helping people to realise that there's lots of things we can do as individuals, and what we do as individuals then has a ripple effect, and other people learn from us and copy us. So it's giving them hope. But yes, it is very worrying. We can pray about it, and we have our hope in Jesus. But a lot of people are very concerned but haven't got a clue what they can do to help, or they think that the little bit they could do, like recycling their plastics, won't really make a difference, but it will, because of the ripple effect.
Yes, absolutely. That's so brilliant. And to have those three things of continuing to pray, especially praying for Christian communities around the world impacted by this, using the Arosha resources to see whether they can be used as a church community or as a wider parish community, thinking about the energy audit stuff and looking at that are all practical ways that a PCC could begin to explore how they can move some of the environmental agenda forward. We talk often, don't we, about us being stewards of God's creation. And I like that phrase in many respects, but I like it particularly when it's linked with the second creation narrative, where we're made from the earth. You know, that there's this sense of us coming out of the earth, so that we're not separate from this beautiful and stunning natural world around us. We are fundamentally part of it, and it is our human home. So these conversations aren't a sort of bolt-on addition to what it is to be the body of Christ. They're central to what it is to be the body of Christ. And they start in our worship of God, where we join with the whole of creation. Karen, thank you so much for your time and being in this wonderful space, and all you're doing within this parish community to begin to explore ways that we can really make the environment the crucial issue it is in our church and life. Thank you.
Thank you.